this game ends up going the distance here, simply because... Welcome to Overgrowth for the second time this evening. And we're going to be going with our red Protoss player in the bottom left-hand corner first. He plays for Team Millennium. He's the challenger to the King of the Hill this evening. And he started fantastically well. He's lost a bit of momentum, but he is one game away from forcing a 9th and final game. Can he do it? It's Millennium's Lilbow. His opponent spawning in the top right-hand position. Representing Team Liquid.net as the Blue Terran, defeating Petraeus last week, but stuttering his start this week against his opponent. He's back up though, and he's 4-3. He just needs to win one game. His name is Bunny. All right. Pretty tense times incoming here. Bunny's won a game by pulling the boys. He's starting to mix up his play a little bit. Lilbow has also been mixing up his play, but Bunny's responses to what Lilbow has been doing has generally just been really, really good. They started off a little bit uncertain. Lilbow was able to crack his Terran opponent with a couple of good attacks in the early games, but Bunny started getting a feel for it. He's now defended against 2 different Immortal attacks against sort of bunker kind of defenses. And he's feeling a little more confident now. He's pulled the boys once. He's going to be playing a little bit more aggressively. And this time around, we actually see him switch it up. We haven't seen a command center first at all this series. And in game number 8 here, Bunny is going for a different strategy this time around on Overgrowth. A slightly different location for the Cybernetics Core, possibly because this pylon was ever so slightly later. So we're not actually going to be seeing it block up this position here to stop that first Reaper from getting any sort of ground. But there isn't going to be a first Reaper, guys, because we had a command center first, followed by 2 of dem barracks. And Bunny now, well, he's going to be scouting out inside the base. He's not going to see anything particularly out of the ordinary. Will spot the probe going down, though, for the Nexus. And he's not going to get there fast enough to prevent it from being planted. So, Bunny on this occasion here will see that the Mothership Core is en route. Oh, he couldn't even block the second gas as well. Lilbow this time being wise to that and going, I'm just going to grab this assimilator before your SCV can get there as well. And planting out a pylon on the edge of the base. So potential for maybe a Stargate or something similar to pop out here. We'll keep an eye on that. The Mothership Core is now out and defending against Bob the Reaper, but Bob the Reaper will not be making an appearance in this game. 3rd barracks now coming down, still no sign of any gas from Bunny, as his 2nd command center is now in orbital command, and he's going to start macroing up like an absolute madman. Lilbow, of course, is completely oblivious to this for now, because he hasn't scouted anything outside of his base, because he's expecting an early attack. In the next 30 seconds or so, when the Reaper doesn't show up, Lilbow's going to be thinking, hang on a second, and we're going to be seeing a bit of scouting outwards. But until that happens, ladies and gents, he's not actually going to know what's been happening this game as far as the Terran is concerned. So, nice little bit of mind games there from Bunny, trying to squeeze a mid-game advantage and getting more resources here in game number 8. Robotics facility is now going down, plugging the gap where normally the Cybernetics Core would have gone for Lilbow. And, well, units being transferred to the bottom now as well. And still nothing incoming. So Lilbow, I think, at this point definitely suspects that something is up now. It still potentially could be gas first drop play, so he can't rule out Widow Mines. He needs the Mothership Core on hand to defend at all times. That's why it's in this position, so he can use Photon Overcharge on either Nexus. And Bunny, well, is he going to be going for something aggressive here? We actually have combat shields first. Now, this doesn't take as long to research as Stim, guys, which means it's possible it's just defensive. Normally, combat shield, if you think your opponent's going to attack you before you actually get any sort of Stim up, it's a faster upgrade and it helps your army a little bit quicker. But we could also be going combat shields into concussive shell as well, and that's because I see a Marauder here queued up at this barrack, so that makes me think we have the possibility of going for an early prod here. It does, of course, come at the expense of tech. If you take a look, this is the factory. We're at the 7-minute mark now as the engineering bay finishes up. So it is quite a while. I suppose you could go into stim and then +1 and try and time it out that way. But I do wonder if we're going to see concussive shell. I'm keeping an eye on that tech lab. 2 Marauders now moving out. Combat shield will complete by the time he gets to the natural expansion. And in the meantime, in Shea Protoss, we actually have the robotics bay completing up as well. And here comes the initial bit of poking. We're just going to see a straight up... wow. Ooh. I'm a little bit surprised that we didn't already see the photon overcharge. Okay, there we go. And now Bunny is just trying to do a little bit of damage. It's actually going to be for stim, so no concussive shell. He's not looking to end the game with this. He's not looking to do some sort of absolutely amazing follow-up push instantaneously. The mothership core is definitely getting lost there, and that was a big blow. I think that maneuvering was not good for Lilbow at all. A little bit of a mistake with the mothership core. Turning around now is Bunny, thinking that, hang on a second, I'm probably going to lose these units. I might as well do as much damage as I possibly can. Really, really nice bits of micro to try and pick off those 2 stalkers, but Lilbow is absolutely on top of it, and this attack does get repelled. 42 to 41 workers in favor of our Terran player right now. Number of workers killed 4-0. Losing the mothership core a little bit unnecessary, but otherwise Lilbow, I think, held that fine. And we have the 3rd base coming down now for Liquid Bunny. But the first Colossus is popping out now, and Lilbow has them queued up and being chrono boosted as well. I wonder if we're going to see a counter massive attack coming out of him here. And I think there's potential to do this as well, because while that 3rd base is going down, those resources are not being put into a larger army. Bunny also was delayed in his tech a little bit, although that said, we have the double medevacs coming out now, so it's not like it's terrible or anything, but these are the first 2. Now, if you imagine, by the time the number of medevacs hits 4, guys, I think we're just about going to have 3 Colossi out on the field. So that's still 0 Vikings, and 3 Colossi, when you have no Vikings out, can be really, really spectacularly difficult to deal with. So spectacular that Lilbow's actually said, you know what, I'm going to move out with 2. Because why the heck not? A pylon's going to get planted here on the right-hand side. And Lilbow just taking control of the watchtower for a second to spot exactly what's going on. There is an observer here somewhere. Okay, a scan over there, just trying to make sure that gets picked up. And now we have control of the watchtower. Unfortunately, the presence of the Colossi made... Oh, what an excellent pair of force fields! And about a 3rd of the bio-army gets disintegrated by those laser beams, ladies and gentlemen. That was beautiful coming out of Lilbow. An excellent piece of tactical maneuvering. Is that going to be the wedge that he needs to try and move into this game? We have the pylon now up, 2 sentries and 2 zealots. He recognizes how useful the force fields are going to be given there are no Vikings here. The bunkers are only just going up. This could be absolutely disastrous for Bunny. He needs to defend with everything he's got, and he has to do it right the heck now. He has no option, but with force fields and Colossi versus nothing but Marines and Marauders, this could be incredibly difficult. Can Bunny hold this? Lilbow, I think he's going to force a game 9 here. The 3rd base is up, but the natural expansion and main are basically going to go down. Excellent time warp, and these Colossi absolutely rule the roost. Lone Viking now here trying to defend against both Colossi. The boys are being pulled, but Lilbow playing very calmly, very measured. And he's just taking slow steps forward. So much damage has been done right now. 17 workers versus 4. The natural expansion is a pile of dust. And yes, the 3rd base is up, but look at the army size. It's 70 versus 56. There's an upgrade supply for Bunny. But what position we have here from Lilbow? Do we have more force fields? That one, well, not the best in the world. Actually, the 2 follow-ups are half decent. Trying to prevent some of the units from going. Good concave there from Bunny, but I don't think he quite has enough units. Only 1 Viking left. 0 Vikings now left, and 2 Colossi still out on the field. Stimming forward, doing a great job actually preventing these ground force from killing off. One of the Colossi finally goes down. Is he going to be able to repel this? Oh, it looks like it might just about go down. We need some more backup units here though, and where are the Vikings? There's only 1 left. Is it going to be enough to stop Lilbow? It might be. I think another warp in here. Okay, there we go. He might actually get to shore up and go again. I'm not certain here. He's also taken apart that base, which is very critical right now. And that leaves this as a wide open target. I feel like Lilbow should back off, but potentially come from this route and just try and take out the 3rd base now, because he is in a pretty healthy position. It's 97 versus 87 supply. He's ahead in workers thanks to that massacre at the natural as well. 45 to 33. Another couple of force fields going down. Only engaging about a 3rd of the army initially is Bunny. doing a great job, but we have Marauders coming through the back to try and pick up the last Colossus. The Viking almost picks it off, but it will live to fight another day. This Colossus is now at 18 kills, guys. If you ever wonder what the value of these units in the army are, well, that fight very much illustrates that it is an incredibly powerful impact indeed. Second Colossus joining up, and it looks like Lilbow's going to continuing pile on the pressure. Bunny's in a difficult situation. He wants to produce Vikings to kill off these Colossi, but if he loses any of these Bedabaks, he really has to replenish them because it seriously affects his ability to stim. Lilbow coming in now with potential round 2. I really want to see him go for the third base, to be honest. It forces the army a little bit further out into open ground as well, but he might just be able to finish the game right here as well. We need some more warpins here towards an actual expansion. A lot of zealots now, so that it's only the Vikings that are dealing with the Colossus. Not anything else. Still only the 2. Potential for force fields to be really good here. This army is trapped in the corner. The 2 Vikings do get picked off very, very quickly. Indeed, the sentries. There's a force field on the ramp, but are we going to see force field against this army? It looks like the Colossi are absolutely shredding them regardless. The medevac's going down as well, and Bunny is retreating into his main base. Lilbow looks like he's getting further and further ahead here. 101 supply versus 71, and these Stalkers might be a bit too much. Enough DPS. GG, and Lilbow forces a game number 9 for the second time in hot seat history. Is he going to defeat Bunny at his first attempt?